Hey guys, and welcome to Bikinis After Babies. You're here with me, Mandy Rashawn.
Hey everyone, I'm Gillian Hughes. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 3. We have a real good one for you today. This is like one of our last ones that we're doing just the two of us before we start bringing on our incredible guests. So I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to have some people on that have had the experience of making it to as a pro or as a judge or making it really into the elite category and while they raise kids and take care of a family and all the things that they have to do and how they did it. It will be so neat to be able to hear their perspective and their journey. I can't wait. It's
I
so
know.
exciting.
I know I'm really excited. And just even like growing the popularity of like not only like the masters division, but just like, moms as bikini competitors. So I'm just really
Mhm.
excited to, know how to ask those questions that moms really want to know and just get
Mhm.
like, the nitty gritty. So I'm super excited.
Yeah, yeah. It
Awesome.
can't come soon enough. It's like a Christmas gift for
Yay, I
Christmas.
know. I know. So excited. So,
I
Mandy, why don't you
know.
tell us how your weekend was and how your prep is going?
Yeah, my weekend was crazy. As you guys know, if you follow me on social media or listen to us, my son is 14. He plays club soccer. So we had soccer games this weekend for his club, but we also had Missouri. It's called Missouri Olympic Development. ODP is kind of the acronym for it. And so we tried out for that, and that's the state team. And
Cool.
it's really exciting. He tried out for Kansas because we're right there on the border, and
Hmm.
he made the first round for Kansas, but since we live in Missouri, he wanted to do Missouri. So this tournament's it was like a tournament but a tryout, and it was the last go around, and he played a lot, and
Hmm.
he did 5 soccer games for the
Oof,
yeah, and
that's a
soccer
lot.
it is, and they did full time, which is 45 minutes each half. So it was a lot
Wow.
of playing in the cold too. So it
Oh,
was really
yeah.
busy driving him around because usually it's about a 40-minute drive to each game. And then we also had I had our friend's birthday party, which we went to this beautiful place um on Friday. Saturday we had a holiday Christmas party for just some friends that run a real estate brokerage here. And then Sunday I had a cookie decorating party with another friend.
All
So it
while
was
you're in prep. Oh my gosh.
all while I'm in prep. So yeah, I took some videos and I took a bunch of pictures. So I was gonna try to make put together a mini vlog of kind of how I did it, how my husband smokes my chickens for me usually anytime before the weekend starts. So I have a lot of chicken and I can eat it cold or hot. So I'll have chicken and steamed vegetables always packed with me, and I'll eat that. I'll eat before I go. For the soccer game, since they were so early, I make the little egg muffins, we have for our clients' recipes. So I'll make
Hmm.
those, and I'll have those in the morning. Protein coffee, the tips and tricks that we kind of learn through the sport of just packing your food, packing your protein, packing your water, things like that. So it gets me through it, but it was really fun. It was fun to go out and just be around town. I don't go out that late, late. So it was neat to go to it sounds cheesy, but to a bar, a pretty Christmas
Stay
bar
up
with a
past like 7 o'clock.
9. So my friends make fun of me because it's like they look at their watch and they'll be like, it's almost 9 o'clock. Are you leaving? I'm like, I have 15 minutes. Okay, guys, give me my 15 minutes.
I know it's so funny if you like know a competitor, you are one. Like it's just, people are usually like, wow, you're up late. And it could be like 8:30. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh
what kind of
yeah.
a loser am I?
Right at the holiday party, I stayed to 9:30, closer to 10,
Hmm.
and it was funny because some of the guys were just like, "You're still here," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm leaving. It's almost 10 now, but yeah."
Well, I mean,
But
it's just because we usually have to start our day really early. And,
yeah.
um, I don't know what your weekends are like. I know you typically during the week, you go later in the morning, right? After you take Carson to school. Is that what you typically
Mhm.
do? Which is
Yeah.
probably better because you're fed, you've had a meal and whatnot, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've experimented with that actually, with how eating before weightlifting. I do my cardio
Hmm.
fasted just out of um luxury of having a treadmill here at home. So like I
Mhm.
literally do my cardio in my pajamas. Like I'll roll out of bed and do my cardio. And then yeah, it's so easy. But once I get my son up, my husband usually gets up. We have animals, so get them fed, get everything kind of going. I'll eat and then I'll drop him off at school and I'll get to the gym a little before 8. And I do that Monday through Friday right now. I don't
Yeah.
have a scheduled split per se. Like some people do 3 on, 3 off, or, have Wednesday or whatever off. Right now for me, just how busy I am with my son,
Yeah.
like I can't work out on the weekends. Like it's
Hmm.
it's just so hard. So I work out Monday through Friday right now.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know I've been playing with my schedule a lot because what led to me having like some digestion issues at the tail end of my last prep was just not getting enough rest.
Mhm.
And so I was getting up like when my cardio got higher in that prep, like I was getting up at 3 in the morning, and eventually it was just so hard on my body. I wasn't getting enough recovery time. And then I was just like emotionally, I was just a basket case. I couldn't handle normal stressors because I was just
Mhm.
exhausted. I'm actually lucky I didn't get sicker, but now, I'm kind of like looking ahead to this prep I'm going into, and wanting to like not have that happen. And so playing with
Mhm.
different times, but I would say it's hard. I mean, I'm the boss. I can figure it out for myself and make
Yeah.
my own hours, but I think it's just a matter of like, I feel like I will have a better workout if I've gotten things done. And I don't always feel like that. Once I start work, I'm kind of like, oh, I can't leave that task. So I'm playing around with it
Mhm.
as well because I know it's not optimal for me to, um, get up at 3 and, go to the gym. So, I mean, I've done it and, I've done it in other preps, but just this last year, it just really didn't work for me. So, and like, and
Yeah.
some coaches, are specific about what they want you to do and they don't think that's optimal. I have lots of clients that train fasted in the morning, and right now I'm going at like 4:30. But I'm just thinking ahead to when, I have more cardio to do, and it's a lot harder to do fasted cardio like later in the day,
Mhm.
so I don't know. I'm playing with it. I'll figure it out. I'll
Oh
figure it
yeah,
out.
no. I have been for a long time getting up at about 5 a.m. And usually at that time my cardio is so low. It's still so low right now.
Yeah.
So it's okay. My son doesn't have to get up till 6:15, 6:30. So I have coffee, I relax, let the dogs out, and then I'll do like my cardio. But like you said, like I know that 15 minutes already is bumped to 20 minutes. So like it's going to climb.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to prepare for that by like, okay, well, let's get up at 4:50. Let's get up at 4, like these different times,
Yeah.
especially Mondays. Mondays are busy. I do my check-ins with my coach Sam, and
Yeah.
I have to do my check-ins with her. I have like it's like chores around here I have to get done on Monday. It's like trash day and get the kid out, like all this stuff. But it just there's a lot that goes on Mondays here, so it's like even 4:20 is like still you're still going.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. That's what I'm kind of playing around with. Like, I
Mhm.
think ideally if I could get a lot of my work done in the morning and then train in the afternoon. But I mean, the first busload of kids comes, up the driveway at 3:30, and then we have another at 4:15, and then my son wrestles and he's usually not home till 5:30. So it's almost like I've just got to play around with it to figure it out. But
Yeah.
I've always been a morning person, and the beauty of it is if you have an early flight, like I did yesterday, then
Mm,
you aren't stressed about waking up in the morning. Like some people are so afraid, oh my God, what if I sleep and I miss my flight? Like out of St. Louis, you can get that 6 a.m. flight to Cancun. I know because I've done it like 5 times. And I never worry because I'm like, I'm automatically, my body's like so adjusted to getting up early.
mhm.
So I guess I could play around with like doing work at that time and then training later. Because I feel like my business and my like well family is first obviously, and
Mhm.
then business is really important, but also like I want to give my best to my prep, and if I'm going to be dedicating the time towards that, I want to be optimal. So I'm just kind of playing around with what is going to work best for everything, and I think that kind of piggybacks off of what we talked about in another episode about like we're not pulling out from family time. Like you're not saying, oh, I'm not going to go to soccer because I have to train. Like you're
Yeah.
still at
Family
soccer. Like
first.
yeah, family comes first. I'm going away for my daughter's cheerleading competition this weekend, and I'll pack all my food and I'll train while I'm there. And honestly, I feel like sometimes when I travel, it's easier because I don't
Mhm.
have all the things that I do at home, like, laundry and, oh, let me straighten this up or let me go grab this or, whatever it is. Like
Yeah.
I feel like packing my food for my trips is really mostly for my goals, but it saves time and like it's just low stress. Like I just got home from Scottsdale
Yes.
yesterday. I was there for
Mm.
4 days, and we only had like 1 hour lunch breaks, and like the session started really early in the morning. Like I didn't want to be like running all around trying to find breakfast or trying to find something for lunch that, would I would
Mm-hmm.
enjoy that would, hit my protein goal. So as much as it's for my goals, like it saves a ton of time. And I think I only spent like $60 on that whole trip.
It
It
does. Like
saved so much
people,
money.
it does. Like I remember one time I ordered food for a trip. I didn't even have time to cook. I ordered food, and even ordering meals to get delivered to the venue, it was a wedding, to a hotel like venue
Yeah.
was so
So
much
much
cheaper
cheaper.
than
Yep.
eating out. Like it was nuts. Like
I
it
know.
is.
It
It's
does
so much
save a
cheaper.
lot of money. It really does. People always think that this is expensive. Well, see, we're females. Like, I know, like, these big bodybuilders are like eating like how many pounds of chicken and how many egg whites. And
Yeah.
I mean, their, needs are ridiculous. But I mean, if you wanted to go and get a salad with enough protein, I mean, you'd have to
Hmm.
probably spend like 20, 25 bucks. And it probably wouldn't
Yep.
even be that good. If I'm going to have a salad, like, it's going to have all the stuff on it.
All
I'm
this,
not
all the
like,
crunchies.
yeah, I call them like slutty salads because they have
That's a
like,
good name
well,
for
there's a
them.
place, I don't know if you've had it. It's called Crushed Red. They're all over the place, but we've got like a bunch of them in St. Louis.
My
Best
friend
salads.
Brooke, that's so funny. My friend Brooke, Walker, the
Yeah,
Olympian, she loves that place.
so good.
She
Slutty,
talks about those
super slutty
salads.
salads. They're so good.
So,
I
Jillian,
love them.
how was your weekend in Arizona?
It was amazing. Okay, I'll tell you,
Mm.
I'm very introverted. Like, I'm an introverted extrovert. I don't know. I really don't know. But I was going by myself, and, I have like talk to some of these people, through different groups. So I'm in a mentorship program for fitness coaches, and I've been there for over a year, and it's all online. And I have a coach and tons of resources. It's been amazing. It's totally transformed the business and helped me be a better coach, and helped me bring on a team of coaches to work with me.
Hmm.
So it's been amazing. And every year they have this conference for 3 days, and I'm totally going. I missed it last year because we had a cheerleading competition, and there was great speakers. But like the day before, I was like, I'm not going. Like I'm nervous. Like I don't know anybody. Like
Hmm.
I'm shy. Like what am I going to say? And I probably won't miss anything. It will be fine if I don't go. But I didn't say the words out loud, and I went, and it was. Oh, I was never not going. First of all, but it was amazing. I met a few amazing people, and the speakers were incredible, and I just got so much out of it. So it was wonderful. And I was in Scottsdale, which was great. It wasn't that warm. I don't really know what I
Really?
was expecting. Like, I guess I thought, like, oh, there's be cactus everywhere and
Yeah.
palm trees. And it was like a resort. Like there was beautiful pools and all this stuff, which I mean, it was like 60, 70 degrees most days, but I really got a lot out of it. And I met so many nice people, and it was just wonderful. There was a lot of competitors there too. Like, I mean, a lot of competitors end up becoming coaches. And so,
Hmm.
a few that, we just kind of chatted here and there and whatnot. So, I think I felt like it was going to be this big, like, social, like, tell your whole life story. And it wasn't really set up that way, which is better for me because I really wanted to
Yeah.
get the value out of the speakers and, really take things home that would improve, like, just things as a business owner, and then,
Hmm.
things for our clients. So it was incredible. So, but yeah, travel, and like, again, I packed all my food, and they did have a fitness center there, which was really good. So I got my training in, and, yeah, it was, all in all, it was a good time. So,
That's good. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yes. And I'm always thankful for everything that you bring home from all of the meetings you go to and all of the time you spend because it is neat. Like the stuff you share with us is so helpful. Like, rather it be, just different ways to communicate with our clients or different, different formats for things or just brainstorming in general. Like some of the things it's like, hey, like you learned this and I'm going to like talk to you guys about it and like rather we're like, oh, that doesn't work or this does work, and we have found plenty of stuff that like, oh my gosh, this is a great idea, our clients love this or respond really well to it, or it helps them grow or it helps them understand. So I love that you go to those things, so thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it was just cool. There was like over 200 people there, all fitness coaches. And like when they opened everything, they talked about how like the obesity crisis is just growing. And by like 2030, there's some like alarming statistic of how many people are going to be obese, and like, how many people over the age of 30 are on four or more medications. And like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't often think about it,
Mm.
Because, I'm generally around people that want our help. And when they start in our program, like I'm so excited to help change their life. But man, there are not enough coaches. And that was what they said.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it seems like it's saturated. I've heard people be like, oh, I want to be a trainer, but I feel like there's so many. No, there are not enough. We need one for every 8 Americans in order to make an impact. So
Right.
there's just it's something that could really just continue to grow. And they compared it to like the nursing profession and how like that was created out of need. And I
Mm-hmm.
won't go into the history of that because that's really, not what this podcast is about. But, it could grow to where health coaches are like another allied profession that could really help people. So I think
Yeah.
that's cool too. Like everybody, I mean, if you think about it, we're all in competition with each other because we're all doing the same thing, but it never felt
Sure.
that way. It really felt like we're all on the same mission with the same purpose to like
Mm-hmm.
really change lives. And, in the bodybuilding space and coaching girls to do competitions, like it, it directly and indirectly helps other people because I'll have so many calls where the person says, "Oh, I know Sammy, she competed and it made me really think like I need to get in shape." And I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to put on that sparkly bikini and like get on stage, but man, I'd love to, get this 20 pounds
Yeah.
off or whatnot. So I think that's what's cool. And for like our podcast too, of certainly it is, content that's relevant to bikini bodybuilding, but like it's not exclusive for that. I would love for
Mm-hmm.
women to be listening to our podcast and hearing these stories and help them, achieve their fitness goals, even if that has nothing to do with ever putting on one of those suits and getting on stage and competing. Because there's so much more to get out of something like that, and just getting
Oh
fitter
yeah.
and healthier overall. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It like you don't have to want to go on stage. And I get that a lot. Like from my friend circle, from my friend circle because social media everybody kind of knows everybody like in your city or kind of in your circle. And so it's like I'll get that a lot. Like how do I lose like these 20 pounds because my doctor is saying like this is really unhealthy and such and such like I'm not feeling well, I don't feel good. And it's like that it never starts out I don't think I've had many conversations personally for me where it starts out like, "Oh, I wanna go on stage too. How do I do it?" It's
Yeah.
more it's more like, "Hey, like, you did this, like, how did you do it?" But yet because when you look at my social media and you kinda look at, like, my personal life, like, I do go out more than I think, kinda like, I'm a social person because I have a positive, bubbly personality, but I have, like, a gauge, okay? I, like, tap out, like, "Okay, it's time to go home," or "I'm tired," I get, like, overstimulated and just wanna like, I'm a homebody.
Right.
But when you go out and you have people like that, like, oh, they hop on your social media, they wanna become, friends, you guys friend each other, just kinda how it always works, and they see, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like, how did you do that? Like,
Yeah,
how do
like
you
you
go
leave
out
your
to these
house, like
things?"
how do you
Mhm.
balance
Yeah.
both, you know? And I
Yeah.
think, but I still think like when we talk back to our origins, like when I first
Mhm.
started this, I was unable to balance it, which I think that's why
Mm.
this is, something that I really wanted to do to be able to share those tips and tricks that we didn't know when we first got started. Like, I mean, I literally lived in an apartment in Florida. It was just me. I was single and it worked beautifully for my life. There was no cupcakes in my house. I didn't have anything other than just me, myself, and I. And, that's where people get that. They coin that term like, oh, it's a selfish sport. Like it can be, but if you want to do this as, a person that wants to like have a balanced life, then, you have to figure it out. And I think what can happen is if you
Mhm.
don't balance that, then when you get out of prep, one of two things happens. Number one, you could look around and there's nobody left because everybody bailed
Mhm.
on you because you're boring and you're not a good friend or a good girlfriend or whatever, or a good wife,
Mhm.
which I hope you're not bailing on your family when you're prepping.
Yeah.
But if you're not cognizant, like people aren't going to stick around for you to be done. And when you do another show, they're going to be like, oh, here we go again, right? Or,
Yes,
you
I
kind
hear that
of,
all the
you
time.
can look around and after you get done, it's like, let's go party. And because you haven't done anything else for like 4 to 6 months, you go out
Yeah.
and you just party your ass off and then you have no balance at all. So I think
Mhm.
I've over the years like learned how to balance it because I think it's really important for it to just be a normal thing that I'm doing and then I don't feel like, oh, finally I get to wear like a cute outfit and go out on a date. But I don't feel it because I've been doing dates the whole prep,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like, I'm going to Branson this weekend to look at the Christmas lights and do family stuff Thursday through Sunday, and I'm gonna have, like, one of my family Christmases out there. like I will still pack my food and go look at Christmas lights. I'll have coffee. Like
Yeah.
I always drink coffee. But like if my husband and kid want to stop and eat somewhere, I can stop and eat, sit with them and not
Hmm.
eat. This is something like I've been saying like a lot because of the holiday season, but people that really struggle with like kind of self-discipline when they're around other food, because it's either they're like kind of awkward of having to say no, they just feel awkward, or like they didn't pack their food, or they did and they already ate but like they don't know what to do. It's just, I always tell them like, think back to the last time you hung out with that person. Okay, what did you guys do? What memories did you make? And what'd you eat with them? What are the odds you're going to remember what you ate with them? You're not, because nobody cares. Nobody cares and nobody remembers.
Nobody
It's just that
cares.
it's the time you spend with people. And if you don't like
Hmm.
spend that time with people because of like a sport or something, now if it's like late at night or like 1, 2 in the morning, something like that, like that's, come on, like you're not going to go out. But if it's like you're going to a Christmas party, you're going to a holiday party, a work function, it's like you can pack your food, you can do it, drink water, make your water tasty, put some Crystal Light in it, whatever the case is, Sprite Zero, whatever. But like
Right.
enjoy your time with the people and the memories. It's nobody remembers what you ate. That's
Yeah,
kind of been like my
exactly.
thing lately.
Yeah, I think you have to be that person if you want to do this more than one time because,
Hmm.
people are not just going to sit around and wait for you to like, be done with your show and they're not going to plan their life around you. So there's going to be a wedding in the middle of your prep. There's going to be someone's
Always
birthday.
something.
There's always going to be something like, and there's
Hmm.
holidays all year round. So, certainly I think it's important to recognize like how your personality is. And if you are like, no, summer is really important to me. I don't want to be dieting the summer. I think it's smart to say, well, I'm not going to be prepping in June, July, and August. But if it doesn't bother you, then do it then. You
Hmm.
have to pick and choose. Like it's not bothering you to prep through Christmas. I did it last year. It was fine. I don't even remember it being impossible. Like it just doesn't,
Hmm.
it's not that big of a deal. There's gonna be other Christmases. And I didn't, it's not like I
Yeah.
canceled Christmas. I still had a big Christmas dinner and big Thanksgiving. And like, I mean, just do it, do the things. And I think you'll have a more enjoyable prep.
Hmm.
And then don't be miserable to be around because nobody likes a miserable, lean person. And then I think about that too. I'm going off on a tangent. I always do. But like, here's the thing, like
I like your
doing
tangent. I'm
something,
not going to
oh,
reel you in.
thanks. I like yours too. Like you're in a position, if you're doing a bikini competition or a bodybuilding competition or figure or wellness or whatever, you make up like some really, really small statistic of people that see it through. And I feel like you have to take a bit of personal responsibility to be a leader because
Hmm.
no, not everybody's going to want to do what you're doing, but you're making choices and sacrifices to better yourself, to improve your physical appearance. Like, don't be a dick about it. Like, don't, oh, I'm so tired. Okay, well, then don't do it. Like, then
Yeah.
don't compete. Like, again, we're choosing to go without food. We have abundance of food. We don't live in a third world country where there's no
And
food around. We get
yeah,
to choose not to eat the food that's there. So it's a
we can eat
luxury.
whatever we want too. And when we want, we can pick
Hmm.
up our phone and be like, I want a birthday cake with spaghetti and a burger, and DoorDash will deliver it to us. We're so spoiled when it comes to
We
food. Like,
are. And
ugh,
like, and this, community, and even though it is really like, it's a personal goal, and no, you don't have to make it about other people. And you certainly don't need to become a trainer and like coach everybody to teach them to do what you do. But like, just realize that it is so outwardly, you're posting pictures, be positive because it could inspire somebody to make a
mm-hmm,
good personal choice. So by the same token, like don't be that person that's like sitting there just like, I can't, I'm in prep. Like I can't, like I'm prepping. It's like nobody cares.
yeah,
Nobody cares. And if you want that support, they're not going to support you if you're like, oh, it's a Debbie Downer. Because they're just going to be like, well,
yeah,
why are you doing it then? Like if it's that miserable, like maybe you shouldn't do it. And you don't
yeah.
want to
What's
hear
the
that. You
point?
don't need that in your ear. You need positive vibes, right? So
Hmm. Well, and you're gonna get that mindset. Like, why are you doing it? So when you have those
yeah.
days that you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to eat the food and you don't want to do that, cardio, and you're like 4 weeks away from your show, and you have that mindset that like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid. I think I look okay now. Like, it's like, okay, like you're just like, you can't think like that. If you outwardly show the positivity during the process,
Hmm.
it's so much fun. Like it's so
Yeah.
fun because It's just you're glowing, you're happy, your body's transforming, you're showing your family that you're happy. Because that's another thing. Like when I started this, 10 years ago, I never wanted to take away from my son. I never wanted to not cook his food or pack his food or cook his dinner. I love to cook, like even outside of like prep cooking. Like I like to cook. And I'm like, I want to be able to do this and my food. And I will cook. I will make him whatever kind of he wants, whatever, we're having for dinner or whatever. And I will still eat out of my Tupperware and like eat
Mhm.
my food. And we will still have family dinner at 6 o'clock. Like, and they will eat
Keep
whatever they're eating.
everything the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no difference. And like you said, it's not selfish. Like if there's something that I have to do with my prep, my fitness journey that possibly could interfere with my family, I will schedule around it.
Hmm.
It's that simple.
Yeah,
So that was our
exactly.
little tangent.
It's a 25-minute intro.
Yeah, we did not do a good job
I
pivoting.
know. Guys, we're new, okay? Well, somebody asked me
Uh,
this weekend if we follow like any sort of like a guideline, like how do you know what to talk about? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like me and Mandy, we just talk. And like we could
we
talk
kind
for
of
hours.
we tried at one point because okay, when you start something like this, you feel like you have to have a template or a framework, and you got to be like this and then
Hmm.
this and then this, and it's like, if you guys can see me on YouTube, I'm moving my hands, and you want to have that because you feel like you're supposed to,
Right.
and once you do it a couple times, you're like,
I just think it makes it really stiff. It doesn't make like a natural conversation. I certainly want to
yeah,
make sure that when we have guests on that we're answering questions that people have, but like
absolutely.
you have to like let the conversation flow. Three
Hmm.
podcasts in and I have all the advice for everybody. Two and a half because this episode's not even done yet.
Yes.
Um, but one of the things that we were going to talk about today is that we just had NPC Nationals. So the last pro cards of the year were given out, and I'm sure your feed was blowing up just like mine was, Mandy. So what did you
Oh my
think?
gosh. I loved it. I love when there's like, I want to say big shows, but really any shows, like especially pro bikini shows. Like I just can't wait to watch it. Like I can't wait
Hmm.
to refresh my Instagram like all
I'm
the
like
time.
pissed when there's no coverage. I'm like, ah, no one's covering the show. Like, I want to know what's going
Oh,
on.
oh, I know. Like it's
Yeah.
so frustrating because sometimes when that happens, I'll be like, okay, well, I know who's promoting it. So then I'll go to like the promoter's page or if I know like if there's like a guest poser or something, then I'll like go to their page and like
Yeah.
check out their stories to like what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah,
But
me
this show
too.
was like greatly
Good
covered by NBC
coverage.
News Online.
Yes,
Yeah,
I know.
they did phenomenal.
It
Like,
was every time I redid my feed, there was like more
oh
pictures
yeah.
coming through and it was awesome. Everybody looked insane. It looked like it was
Mm,
huge. I mean, they're always big. But this is the last opportunity of the year for pro
mm-hmm.
cards and
And
there
they
was
give out two
no
per division or
yes.
per
And it was in
class.
Texas this year. That was a new location. Um and
Yeah.
but yeah,
They
I mean
usually
it
do it in
was
Florida, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's usually been I think it's South Beach is where it usually is. But yeah, I think it was amazing and just so many
Mm-hmm.
incredible girls. And one thing that we wanted to talk about is competing to get your pro card. And
Mm-hmm.
well, I'll just ask you, Mandy, because you're on the cusp of becoming a masters competitor next year, and you're heading to nationals in the summer to go for your pro card. So, what are your thoughts about competing in both masters and open for your pro card?
Hmm.
What are your thoughts about that?
So I am excited just because of the stage time. So
Hmm.
I like know that you will never get that experience at all. So like when you go, and I've said this on our other episodes, when you have the chance and you have the money, if you can do as many categories as possible, as many times you could walk on that stage as possible, pay for it, do it, because nothing will give you that feedback. Nothing will give you that experience than those moments. So
Hmm.
just being able to like walk across the stage more times and practice more times, and then being able to be judged by women, like with a group of women that are my age or like in my age bracket or category. I've never
Hmm.
really had that because like I've competed since I was 26, excuse me, and I've always just been like open or obviously like I did novice. True novice wasn't a thing when I first started competing, but like I did novice, and I did as much as I could until I got to the point of just like open, right?
Right.
So I'm excited. Yeah. I have to qualify for nationals, but I plan to qualify for nationals
Piece
as
of
many shows as I
cake.
have to do. as many shows as I have to do. Of course, the first one being March 30th.
Clash.
Yes, Clash. I'm so excited to do that show. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
so you're saying you'll do at nationals where it's available. So like Universe and North Americans are the two national shows of the year where they have both open and masters. And then there's some that are
mhm.
just open and then some that are just masters. So you're saying you'll do both open and masters at nationals?
So So how we've planned it, and I've talked to my coach about it, how we're going to look at it is obviously we're going to go to Clash. We're going to do Clash. We're going to do, 35. We're going to do open and we're going to do 35. And obviously get the feedback. Sandy's the judge there. So that's really exciting that I'll
Mm-hmm.
get really good feedback. And then I will do I'm hoping everything should be good to be able to do those two shows. And then going back to kind of how being prepared for shows, like, getting ready for the season, getting ready for kind of your goals. I've already like sat my husband down and been like, okay, well, this upcoming year, like we need to prepare for this because not any time, but like really kind of, I like my coach and I will be like, hey, we got to go to this show and we got to go to New Jersey. We got to go to Vegas. We got to go here. And I want to be able to do that. This last year we traveled so much
Mm-hmm.
for just kind of just recreational fun. And then I travel for shows, of course, but like this year, it's about like business and shows.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to do both. I'm excited to do both. If I
Yeah.
like, I'm putting it out there in the universe. I'm going
Yeah.
to do it.
Well, hopefully we'll
um,
be at Universe together. That
Yeah.
is
So
my
when
plan.
do you plan? Yeah. So what is I know you're in an off season right now and
Mm-hmm.
you're lifting and you're enjoying food. So how is that going?
Eating.
What is your plan? Eating.
So, I did Universe last year and it was just incredible to be there. I had such a great experience. I love the venue. I remember going and peeking inside of the auditorium the night before and I was like, I can't believe I'm going to be up there. And like, even like my photos from the stage, like I have followed bodybuilding forever. I mean, obviously I've been competing for almost 20 years. And so it was my first time doing that particular national show. I had done North Americans and Masters Nationals a few times prior to that, but never Universe. It just never lined up with the family schedule. So it did last year. So I'm
Hmm.
going to do it again this year. But I personally only do Masters at Nationals.
Ah.
So we'll see. I have a new coach this year. So we'll see if he has a different theory and I will
Hmm.
trust whatever he tells me because he's the boss. And I just have personally always liked to pour my energy into that one class at nationals and it's a timing thing too for me. When I go
Hmm.
to a qualification show, I'll always do open and masters and usually I'll do 35 and 40 and open just for stage time because I love the experience. You only get that on stage. You don't get that anywhere else like you always say. But at nationals, what can happen is they have masters and then it's like hours until open. And for
Ah.
me, I'm like, I need to go and recollect myself and get ready for finals because it takes a lot out of me. So to have your classes be separated by what can be like 4 or 5 hours, it's
Oh wow.
for me it just doesn't work with my body. I hate waiting. And so that's just me personally. Some people
Hmm.
don't mind, but I mean, I'm going to give you an example last year at Universe because it's such a big show and they take their time placing every single athlete. It's not just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as much as
Hmm.
competitors, we like things to move along. Do you really want your class to move along fast? No, you want them to give
Yeah.
everybody a fair look. You want to make sure that the scoring
Hmm.
is where it needs to be. So it's something you just have to suck it up. But, you get up, you get your tan, you get your makeup, then you wait. And you go backstage and then you wait some more. And then you're lined up and you're waiting. And then,
Yeah.
like, they had, 60, 55, 50, 45. Then 40 goes. I'm A class 40. Then they had 35. And then it was like hours until open started. I mean, and that was like only like two age classes above. So that's just me personally. You're 35,
Yeah.
so like your classes will be a little bit closer together, but
Yeah.
but
Well,
I
and you never
had
know too. This will be my first time doing it. So like it's like you said, you've done it before, you have the experience. This is my first time doing it. And it's just like what you learn. Like as soon as you step off stage, you learn something new. So yeah.
and it might change when I turn 45. I might end up doing 45 and 40. if I'm still making the run at the pro card. I mean, who knows? But I know that the girl who won my class at Universe, she won a pro card in 3 classes. I
Oh,
only need
wow.
one pro card. I don't need three. I just need one. I
Like,
just
I
need
just need.
one. But I think that's cool too. I have seen girls that they win in their masters and in their open class, which I think is cool. I again, I don't think my odds are any better in open than they are in masters. It's not why I'm not choosing open. I'm 40. That's what I choose. This is the 40 class. So that's just me personally, but it is different at a regional show. At a regional show, things run a little bit quicker, and you do want to get more experience. And I think it's really nice to have those wins too. Like right before I went to Masters Nationals, I had done a show in Texas, and I won the Masters overall, and then I was like second in open, and I was like, look at me, you're beating all these young, it just like was like it was like confirmation that I was like ready to go to nationals. So that would be
Yeah.
another reason for it. But my advice to athletes is just do what your coach says. If your coach says do both, don't not do it to save money also, because I think that is
Hmm.
another thing where people are like, oh, I just did one to save money. Don't do that. You're already there. You got the suit, you got the tan, your hair and makeup are done. If your coach thinks it's a good idea, then do it, right?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's, budget for the shows. Like, if you're already at the show and you're checking in, you've already budgeted for the 24 weeks, 25 weeks, however long, like you already know. So if like you have that chance to like walk across more stage time and your coach is, especially if your coach wants you to do it, just do it.
Yeah,
Just
just
do
do
it.
it. No,
There was
totally.
a girl one show who registered for physique and figure, and she was a first time competitor. She registered and she didn't want to do physique, and I was like, well, you already registered, like why don't you just go ahead and do it? And she's like, well, I don't know. And it's just like, look, this is your first time, walk across stage, try it out. You already paid for it. And she wanted to like, cancel. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it. She actually fell in love with it and she's competed like multiple times.
It's
Yeah. Like, so
awesome.
you just
You just don't
you
know.
never know. You never know. And
And you
that
don't
goes
want to
back
be
to,
like, oh, I wish I had, because you can't go back and do it over.
yeah. And that's like the same thing with like the if you are competing and you don't know how to do bikini or wellness, like
Yeah,
you can try
do
both
both. Yeah.
and see what your physique says, see what your or physique wants, see what the judges say, and then like you can kind of go from there and figure out like, oh, this I'm more bikini or I'm more wellness or I like lifting and growing this way compared to like lifting and growing this way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just try it.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you'll never ever get that experience any other way. So you might as well do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll
So
remember it forever is what's cool.
I
Like
know.
you'll always remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I know one topic that we wanted to make sure that we touched on today was if you're thinking about competing and you never have, but you got some babies, and maybe you've had your 35th birthday or your 40th birthday or your 50th birthday, and sort of, our encouraging thoughts about why you should, but maybe some things that you might be concerned about that are things that, shouldn't hold you back. Because in our experience, there is really no reason not to. We can find
Mm-hmm.
ways to troubleshoot and solve all sorts of things so that it can be something for you if you really want it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've met I see teen athletes all the way up to like athletes that are, 70, 80 years old. So there's always a time to start. Just like young to old, there's always going to be obstacles. Like we keep saying, like there's never going to be a perfect time to start. Like, you know, it's just a matter of like, okay, I want to do this. This is what I'm going to do. And you commit to it. And then you learn. Like you said,
Hmm.
you learn. Do you like to prep in the summer? You like to fall? You kind of learn all those things. But you can always start at absolutely any age. And I will say, like, I never competed without a kid, but I will say one thing that like competing in a positive, what I was scared of when I first started was absolutely the selfishness of the sport.
Hmm.
Which is I will go out on a really long limb and say it's a big misconception. Is the
Hmm.
sport selfish to where, yes, we have to focus on how we look? It is an aesthetic sport. It's our eating, it's how we train, it's our diet. But at the same time, I have never in my entire life and probably never will meet the nicest, kindest, sweetest, most helpful men and women than in the sport of bodybuilding, no
Hmm.
matter how elite of an athlete, elite of a judge, um, at all. Like I have met so many nice people, and I feel like it's such a big misconception. Now, when it comes to your family and like the selfishness of time, again, you know, if you have kids that go to school, can you work out while they're at school? If you can you get groceries delivered? Can you, you know, meal prep while you're also cooking dinner and meal prep for the next 3 days? Can you know, it's more about just like how can I fit in what I want to do that will work with my family and like I can accomplish goals and then your
Hmm.
family can see you accomplish those goals and your kids can be like my mom made a goal and she did it. Like
Yeah,
that's a big deal. Like my mom like wanted to do something and made goals and stayed disciplined and did it. That shows your kids that like if my mom can do it, I can do it too. So
absolutely.
that was a big thing for me with my son.
And I think too, like there is a misconception about um, competitors being really focused on their looks, and they're just confident because they're ripped and they have
Hmm.
like a great butt. Well, actually, when you do it and you have the experience, you know that that's only like this much of the confidence. The confidence like really comes from overcoming all of the shit that gets thrown in your way on a prep and you don't quit. Like that's where it really
Hmm.
comes from. Like I know there's so many times in prep close to the show that I'm like almost moved to tears because I can't believe I didn't quit. I'm so proud of myself because there were
Hmm.
so many times when I had reasons to quit or I should, spend my time doing other things or my body's tired or, I just feel really overwhelmed or I'm having self-doubt and I do it anyways. And that's like where the confidence comes from because looks come and go, really. And, that might be what brings somebody in. Like they might be like, oh, I really want like that shape. And we all do,
Hmm.
but they don't often realize until they get through that first prep that like the confidence really just comes from achieving like one of the hardest things that they've ever had to do. So
Yeah.
I think that
I'm
that's my favorite part about it.
right. No, I am that's funny you kind of bring that up because I over this weekend how busy I was. I like I'll go and expedite shows and I will go and do like lots of stuff. But this weekend was really intense, like with all the stuff, like being out late and the being up. I had to be up early and get my family up early.
Hmm.
I'm proud that like like I did that with all my got all my food ready, had all my food packed, everything was like spot on. I am proud of that. Now, if like you're at the gym this morning with me, am I staring at myself in the mirror while I'm practicing posing? 100% because I have to see is my foot angled right? Is my shoulders angled right? But like from an outside like you said outsider's point of view, like I am just staring at my body, but like am I proud of myself? Absolutely. Like I'm proud of myself for what I do,
But
but
you're
like
not like looking in the mirror like, "Oh, I'm so hot."
right.
Like that's the thing. Like I don't really feel like I have
Yeah.
to explain myself anymore. But certainly like
Yeah.
when my kids were younger and the other moms were getting to know me and they're like, "Who's this chick? Like she's got this big water
Mhm.
jug and she wears bikinis on the internet." And like I would never do that. And yeah, certainly some of those people never ever gave me a chance and I don't really care. But,
Mhm.
those that did like really learned like, hey, like this is more than that. This isn't just like, oh, look at me, look how hot I am, and look, I compete and I wear a bikini. But if you think like, if you look around at society, there's so many people that haven't even worn a one piece swimsuit in a long time
Yeah.
because losing weight is hard. It is really hard. And things are busy. All the things, all the obstacles that we're facing, other women just haven't if they haven't achieved that goal and they're struggling with their weight, it's just because they haven't learned the tools yet. It's not because they
Mhm.
can't do it. I believe anybody can do it. I really believe anybody can get to a healthy spot with their weight, even if they're 100 pounds overweight. They just have to be given the right support, given the right tools, learn those habits. But if they've never figured that out, a lot of times they're projecting negativity. And it's not
Mhm.
personal. It's just like, kind of screw you, you figured it out. And I'm over here battling so hard. It must be so easy for you, even though they don't really see everything that you put in. So, I'm happy to share like what my day looks like. I'm not superwoman. Like I'm not.
Mhm.
I like crash and burn just like everybody else. I have my limits, but I like to share those parts of my journey because there might be somebody who's like, okay, I can at least walk 30 minutes today and, not have a whole bottle of wine tonight, right? Like, I think that that's what's, again, going back to what we talked about earlier about being a leader. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I think that I hear that from my clients too, just like, oh, my one of my church friends, like, just, thinks that I'm really vain and, that I'm really self-absorbed and I'm all about my image and it's not really her stuff, it's the other person's stuff, but you're going to get that because it's not that this is a controversial sport. But there's still people that just don't understand it and they don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it takes. And again, you're in a bikini. So
Yeah.
you're not asking for criticism, but it is a very brave, bold thing to do. And maybe there are people that are still sitting with that, belief that moms shouldn't show their stomach and they shouldn't wear a bikini. I don't believe that, but there are, you are going to get those people that are a little bit more closed-minded. And I just say, well, those are not your people then,
Yeah. And
So,
especially like having kids and like depending how old the kids are, you do kind of get, I don't want to say stuck, but kind of stuck. Like if you're like how we are, like we're in the gym all the time, we work with clients, we stay in this like mental world of people that want to be better, people that are trying, people that
mhm,
are changing, people that are growing. And then, you go out, so for me, it's like going out to the soccer fields, going to like different things with Carson, it's I kind of sometimes I will forget like because I order quite a bit of stuff. I order Amazon, DoorDash, not DoorDash, Instacart. Um, but like I will go out with him and it will just be like, oh my gosh, like I do forget, like I do have muscles and like compared to like the average woman. It's not that I forget the average woman doesn't. It's just that like I get so focused and like kind of in my world and our world and like what we're doing and our goals and clients' goals, things like that, that it's just like, oh yeah, like not everybody goes to the gym and they don't know how to do it. And they are, they just do what their doctors feed them, and doctors aren't trained to do what we do, and they aren't.
right,
And they're trained to get, obviously they'll give you the best advice they can, or they believe in, but at the end of the day, like they don't know how to do what we do. And
right.
that's where you said earlier about like being an allied health profession, and it's just like it, like the fact that it's not blows my mind. Like it it is what it is, but that's a
Well,
totally
actually,
different
there was a
tangent thing.
change in the,
There is.
yeah, so they're moving towards it being something that insurance covers, and that there was a study that they did on health coaching. And I don't think any health coaches have really wanted to be a part of it. So that's why the study's not that
Mm,
great. Um, but, talking about health coaching becoming more of a recognized profession. Um, so I don't know. I don't know that I'd ever want to really take
yeah.
insurance. It's not. But the fact that it's becoming a recognized thing, not
Yeah.
just personal training, but like health coaching, um,
Hmm.
I think that's a really positive thing because,
That's like,
people want to get healthy. They really do.
yeah,
And typically, if you go to the doctor because of the way things are set up, it's for sick people. And that's,
it is.
they help you if you've got a broken leg or a bullet in your arm or you need medicine or something like that. But most of the
Hmm.
time, if you want to get healthy and you want to lose weight, that's not the place to start. And it's not to say they don't care. It's just different. So it
Yeah.
used to be different. I mean, I don't know that it was always that way, but I think that we're in a time where there are so many resources and there's so many coaches. There aren't enough coaches, but there are so many coaches. I mean, you can just you see them on every corner. I mean, you go into Starbucks and there's
Hmm.
like a whole poster by the bathroom with like all the little like business cards of all the different people
Yeah.
that the trainers and everything. So I love that. I think that's great. And I hope that more people want it. And
Hmm.
we've seen like obviously you've been expediting shows for a number of years now. I mean, it used to be
Hmm.
like there'd be maybe 60 people in a show. You go to these shows and they're in like small towns like, Des Moines, and there's 400 competitors. I'm like, this
Oh
is
yeah.
awesome. Like
Pre
it's growing.
Yeah, there will be that many competitors. And then what's mind blowing is like the prejudging will be like standing room only. And that's
Yeah.
prejudging. That's not even finals. And it's like
Yeah.
like VIPs will be sold out, like just different things. It's awesome. It's awesome that the sport is growing. And going back to the selfishness of the sport, like it's not like, look how many friends do you have that are also health coaches. We all are here to help each other,
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, we all unanimously have like the same passion, and is to help other
Hmm.
people, whether
Yeah.
it's step on stage, lose weight, become healthy. Like we want to help people in the way that like our passion suits them.
Hmm.
Like I got asked at the our Christmas party Saturday night, I ran into some old friends, and they asked me, they're like, you know, how did you learn this stuff? Like just blatant, like, how do you learn? And I thought about it. I was like, because again, this was a real estate function. I was like, well, like, how did you learn how to become like a realtor? Yeah, you took the certified course. Everybody takes a certified course, but it's like after that, like, what made you become great or
Mm-hmm.
good or like do as good as you're doing? You learn because it's your passion. Like
Mm-hmm.
how much learning have you done because you love it? And it's like I've done 10 years of learning because I love it. And that's what like makes me able to do what I do now, just like you, we love it. And with clients, that's all we want to do is like give them our passion and help them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I would love nothing more than every person that I coach to become a coach. Like, I wouldn't feel
Mhm.
like that would hurt my business. I feel like it would just help other people.
Inspiring.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes people are like, oh, I didn't want you to know that I was like coaching. I'm like, let me help you. Like, let me share with you, like, things that would
Mhm.
help you be able to help other people because, I think we all, yeah, of course, it's the same. We're all really targeting the same audience, but there's so many people that need our help. There will never be
Mhm.
enough coaches. So if I think somebody's like an awesome person and that would do a really good job, then I'm happy to like share, any business advice. Well, that's like kind of how you and I ended up working together because I think you were
That
like
is.
asking me, and it was probably like last winter. You were like, I was just
It will
wondering,
almost be a year. It will be a
we
year
have to
because it will be
celebrate.
January.
We'll have a rice
Yeah,
cake ceremony.
yeah. I'll have to look back at my messages because I was talking, so obviously I know quite a few coaches in Kansas City, and I was talking to like a few different coaches because like I wasn't I've already started and have a successful business in a different industry. So I kind of knew like I don't like spending, but I knew the setup kind of thing, but I'm just still trying to figure out like what is going to be best for me to help like others that I can be consistent with for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And so after talking to a few people, obviously I reached out to you like, hey man, like seen you at a couple shows now, like we've chit chatted before, like, and that's how, and now look
And
at
what did I
us.
say? I think
Look at us.
you were like, I was just
No,
wondering, like, if you had any advice for me on like how to like,
yeah.
find clients. Like, I'm already coaching, and I was like, well, you could
No, I
like
wasn't coaching yet. But I
you'd
did. I was like,
certs and
how?
everything, and you were doing all
Hmm.
that, and I was like, well, you could like when I got started, like I went to every yoga studio and did seminars and all that stuff. I mean, you could like
Yeah.
put flyers on cars at the gym parking lot. You could do all that, or you could just work for me because at the time I was growing my
Yeah.
team and I needed another coach. Um,
I remember I was at the gym in the dumbbell rack and you said that. And I was just like, I stopped working out. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do. That's
Yay!
exactly
I know
what I
you're
need.
like, I
And
had to like go
I
jump up
was
and
so
down.
happy.
I
Yeah.
know.
Like I was, because I wanted a mentor. And like, there wasn't, like, I don't want to say a local one, but there isn't one that like, that's like local to me that like I vibed with, that I could, that I've seen, just I kind of hit those boxes, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
And far surpassed the boxes. I just didn't even think you were like hiring people. Like I didn't know that was like you were doing that. So I didn't even expect it and for it to come out of nowhere. And I was like, this is perfect. And now look at
Now,
us.
now look
This
at
is
us with this
what
podcast and everything. I feel like
right.
that's where you do get like the most amazing like talent because it's people who follow the brand and like follow you and align with your mission. Like that's how everybody came to work here. Like that's how it started with Melissa
Hmm.
and with Kate and Erica and Brooke. Like that's like how everybody.
Hmm.
So I mean, I think that's great. I've never had to be like, I'm hiring assistant coaches. Like I just like you guys just popped out of the universe, which is wonderful. So and we're a great team.
It's a sign.
So I know.
It and it's so much
Yeah.
fun too. We all bring something a little different and we all
Hmm.
vibe really well. And
That's
it's
rare
nice.
in a
Like
female group, isn't it? For like all of us to
I will
like,
say,
there's no drama,
you
which
know
I
what? I
love.
will say that because I don't, I don't like I don't shy away from anything per se, but I really don't like the inclusivity of all men or all female. Like I just
Hmm.
like to me how it's always been. And again, this I've worked out by myself. Like I introduced like weightlifting, all that stuff by myself. But like I've always found that men and women just kind of like all of us like together, it's cool. But I will, and now I will kind of take a step back because there are some boot camps that are here in Kansas City that are very successful all women, and I
Hmm.
totally understand that. But you are right, like where it's like an all women's group, it's like, are we good? Are we
Hmm.
all really good? But we are. Like
We are
it's
really
pretty.
good.
It's awesome, and we all like support each other, and we all like, yeah. it is. I really enjoy it.
It's all good vibes.
So
I think
thank you.
that kind of goes back to what we said before about just like if you're a confident person and you like what you're doing, you're not like envious of other
Hmm.
people and there's no like competition, like then really all that you're receiving from one another is motivation, inspiration, all those like positive things. Then, I think
Hmm.
it takes just the right vibe. And I got really lucky with my team. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Well, we've been yakking
Well,
away, girl. We're
yeah.
almost an hour. I was like, what are we
So,
gonna, we don't
okay.
have anything to talk about today.
So what we should touch on, next week's episode, what we can probably touch on is just go back to like, getting started after like you've had kids and just kind of more and like touch base about that. Cause I know we talked about it for like a little bit this episode, but we can
Yeah, like
go
changing
way
bodies.
deeper.
Yeah, I think that
Hmm.
was one thing that we were
Yeah.
going to talk about today. Things like stretch marks, cellulites, diastasis recti,
Yeah.
various like maybe things like more like trainer chat where we can like share our expertise, things that we would
Sure.
use to help our clients. But also, we'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what are some things that you would like for us to talk about? Because we listen to a lot of these podcasts, and I certainly don't want to repeat information that you've already heard a million times over, but we
Hmm.
all consume different content. So feel free to reach out to us on social media. It's all linked in the show notes, or you can leave a comment wherever you are viewing our podcast and let us know what you think about the episode. And as well, some suggestions for future recordings because we would love to help answer all of your questions and give you lots of good, insightful info.
Yeah, and you can always check out Bikinis After Babies on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can watch us. My hand gestures and our smiles. You can watch us on YouTube as well. And then please take a minute to go to Bikinis After Babies Instagram page and follow as well. And we'll have lots of different content and videos on that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Till next
Yeah.
week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.